Hey there, I'm here with another retro trailer reaction. I haven't done one for a little while, and I've been meaning to do a few for a while, because they're good fun to do. Some people seem to like watching them as well, so it's all good. Anyway, I'm going to do a reaction to an old film, an old war film called Cross of Iron. I did a video recently about a comic book called Action, and it mentioned Cross of Iron because it's like from the viewpoint of the German soldiers rather than like the Allies, because normally the films always used to be about Allies, you know, the old war films that the British and Americans would make could always be about British and American side of the war. But this is a German look at the harshness and vagaries and spoils, not really the spoils, but you know, the harshness of war, basically, from a German, I think they were a Panzer division or something like that, in Russia, which is one of the more vicious and harsh environments of war. One of the it was kind of like the Russian front was like what the German soldiers were threatened with if they misbehaved. You're getting sent to the Russian front because you knew there your chances of living were pretty low, I think, and you know, the harshness of just living there was, yeah, it doesn't bear thinking about. But anyway, let's go on to the trailer. It's quite a long trailer, actually. It's over nearly 4 minutes.
In this century of great wars, no other compares to the mammoth struggle between Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia. From this savage era comes a story so big that only the epic camera of Sam Peckinpah could do justice to its theme.
I'm not sure what year this came out, actually. It doesn't actually say on the actual video thing. I thought it was about the 70s. Must have been in the 70s, but it looks pretty cool so far. Like, it's quite a big budget, quite a big spectacle kind of thing. You look at the battle scenes there, look pretty convincing. Some of the explosions look like they're just like, obviously, special effect explosions. I don't know how I could think that looks like a special effect explosion rather than a real explosion. I don't know, something about it looks like it's a planned explosion rather than like a missile flying down. I don't know, I just think there'd be more. I don't know, I'm completely making that bit up, really, aren't I? But yeah, it looks pretty harsh, and obviously not as bloody maybe as some of the more recent war movies have probably been, but for its time it was definitely, and it has got some very adult and sort of nasty themes in it as well. I seem to recall.
As the once invincible German army was hammered back in the year after Stalingrad, survival came to depend on two kinds of soldier. Leaders of men such as Steiner, and seekers of glory such as Stransky.
Why did you ask to be...
Yeah, I remember it more now. James Coburn, he was great in his movie. I think he was in A Man Called Flint as well, where he played a spy. But there's an artist in UK comics, he's died now, unfortunately, called Carlos Esquerra, and all these characters look like James Coburn or Clint Eastwood. He was like, he had a certain grittiness to them, and it was very reminiscent of. In fact, he did a character called Stainless Steel Rat, who I think was actually based like on James Coburn's look exactly. And yeah, he's just one of those old school action kind of gritty, kind of heroic kind of guys. But here playing a Nazi, and I remember now he's like the soldier on. You know, he doesn't care. He just wants to survive, basically. He's not worried about glory. But as the other guy, the Max Schmeling character, I think his name was. Did he say Max Schmeling? I can't remember if that was the right name. But he's after glory. He wants the glory. He wants the Iron Cross, the Cross of Iron, which is what the film's all about. What the name of the film's about. So he's like, you know, he doesn't care so much about the soldiers on the front line. He just wants the glory of, you know, doing courageous or getting his soldiers to be successful, so he wins the Iron Cross. Yeah, it's just kind of a crazy mentality to have, really. But there are people like that, you know, people who want the glory, people who believe in the righteousness of what they're doing and want to receive like the pat on the back of medals and glory. And there's others who just want to get through it, just want to live, just want to look forward to their next meal and look forward to a time when they're not having bullets and bombs thrown at them. And James Mason, of course, is a great actor, great British actor. Yeah, he sounds far too English as a German here, doesn't he? But it's all good. Come on.
Be relieved from duty in France. I want to get the Iron Cross.
Yeah.
Steiner, soldier, even
The German soldier no longer has any ideals. He's fighting for his life.
If they're the last of us, Scrancy and Steiner, then God help us.
There are orders that no Russian prisoners are to be taken. Get rid of him.
Yeah, it's just a young boy of a soldier fighting for the Russians, because the Russians threw everybody into the bloody mix. You know, when their country, this is after Stalingrad. Before Stalingrad, they weren't prepared. The only thing that they had, and they didn't have the tanks, they didn't have the guns so much. They weren't stockpiled, you know, ready for it, but they had lots of people, so they threw lots of people in there. And I heard like stories of like, oh, if someone dies, pick up their gun and carry on fighting, because literally they never had enough guns for everybody. And Stalingrad was just a horrible siege where people were reduced to cannibalism and fighting street to street, house to house, and eventually they held on to it, and eventually the Russians, when they got all their military in order, they got all their weapons and supplies in order, and the German supplies lines was they couldn't keep supplying them. They run out of winter gear, that kind of thing. Loads of things that happen in war, lots of logistical nightmares, and eventually the Russians managed to force them out of Stalingrad. And then the rest of the war is basically the Germans fighting a defensive as they like retreat, or strategic withdrawal as they probably called it, to keep morale up. But yeah, and yeah, so it's interesting. Oh, that the guy there, was it James Warner? He was the priest in Omen who gets impaled by a... Oh no, he's the guy who gets his head chopped off by a sheet of glass, I think, in the first Omen movie. So he's a face you've probably seen before, a good sort of character actor of that time. Big old tank.
Not since All Quiet on the Western Front has any film probed the realities of war so deeply. Whatever Sam Peckinpah does generates an excitement of its own. The need to find love.
Oh yeah.
And the inner conflict to face death instead. Now, Sam Peckinpah achieves a new high with Cross of Iron.
Why do you want it so badly?
As he looks beyond the mere winning of medals,
Yeah.
the meaning of courage itself.
Yeah, because his character, the soldier on the front line, Coburn's character's got the Cross of Iron already, and he doesn't care about it. You know, he's it's just a bloody bauble they gave him for doing his job, like a job that he'd really rather not be doing. But you know, he's like I say, he's the leader of men. He's in charge of his squad. You know, and he's doing his best to get them through, to keep them alive. To when they get forced to go out and do objectives, obviously he's got to do his best to do the objectives, because that's how they get to live another day. You got to kill the other person before they kill you. Yeah, it's a very harsh old movie. There's a great like playing out scene. There's a song playing out. It's some kind of German folky kind of song. It's not like Oh Christmas Tree or something like that. I can't remember now. But some kind of like sort of choiry kind of. It sounds like children singing, and it's completely kind of juxtaposition against the war that's gone on like, all around it, kind of thing. It's like it's just really sort of kind of like quite a powerful film. And there's a little bit there it's about looking for love, and it's not love, it was sex he was looking for in that particular scene. And I think he tries to rape a girl, and he gets rather nastily wounded, let's put it that way, and then James Coburn's character leaves him to it. It's like, well, you know, you can't come any further. He leaves him, and the women just kill him. He leaves him to the women who are Russian female soldiers, and they end up, I don't know, stabbing the crap out of him or something. It's really kind of bleak, and it's just, you know, there's no airs and graces put on it. Like in most war movies, it's always like stiff upper lip and all that kind of stuff, and it's everything's done the right way. You know, it's all Geneva Convention, and you know, everybody's just plucky and getting on with it, and you know. But this is possibly one of the earliest films that shows war in all the harsh, gritty terribleness of it. I did mention All Quiet on the Russian Front. I think that's on the Eastern Front. which I think was a book originally. There was a film of it as well, which I think may have preceded this. I've never seen the film, but it's been remade recently on Netflix, I think. I didn't get around to watching it. I kind of like, I don't know if I can be bothered with watching these kind of films now, because it just puts me in a blinking... I've got quite a lot of depression issues, and I'm not sure if I want to watch a film that's quite as bleak as this film is anymore. I prefer to watch throwaway stuff like action and, you know, horrors, where it's just, you know, it's just... comedy, not whole comedy, but it's like joke death. You know, people aren't really being killed like that. They probably, maybe they are in horror movies, but there's no like demons and zombies alive. So you know, it's just a bit of, I don't know, it's less serious, less believable, but a gritty, harsh movie like war movies. They kind of put my head in a bad place. So I'm not sure if I want to watch the new All Quiet on the Eastern Front, even though I hear it's a really good movie. But anyways, carry on with this trailer.
Just a piece of worthless metal.
Yep.
It's not worthless to me.
You're not dealing with just another Nazi party type. He doesn't live in the same world we live in.
I know he's living in my world now.
They're pulling back to the bridgehead at Cuba. No rear guard. What do you understand this, platoon?
Regimental headquarters, come in, please. Trotsky, can you hear me? All the lines are out.
God.
The only person that stands between Stransky and his Iron Cross.
Yeah, James Mason's sounding more English, some more German there. He's putting on a bit of a German accent on that bit. I saw early on when you heard him, he just sounded like plummy English accent, but maybe I was mistaken. But yeah, he definitely sounded like he was trying to put on a bit of a German accent when you just heard him talking there. But yeah, look at all the blinking, the trenches, the blinking explosions going on all around you. I just can't imagine what it must have been like to have lived at that time, and like especially like World War One as well, just as bad, or even, possibly even worse in some ways. I'm not too sure, because they had the poison gas as well, didn't they? And then they'd make you march slowly into the blinking into battle. It's like while you're being shot the crap out of by machine guns. Yeah, it's just horrible. Just like people dying all around you. You know, you could be talking to someone 1 minute, next minute they've got a sniper bullet in their head, or you could be running along and someone gets blown up next to you. It's, oh gosh, I can't bear thinking of that kind of stuff, the stuff that mankind has done to each other in history. It's shocking. It's terrible. You think about the wars we've had before. We've had quite a lot of peace now, at least in the UK. We've not had a major war. We had the conflict in Argentina. We had the last major battle we were involved with in 1945. Hopefully we don't see any time soon. Hopefully the current conflicts that are going on in Europe don't spill out across the rest of the continent, because that would be absolutely horrific. Anyway, let's carry on.
Without Steiner to contradict him, he'll get his Iron Cross, Stransky in Paris, Steiner. God knows where he'll be.
Even bigger than the Wild Bunch. More exciting than Straw Dogs and the Getaway. Now, Sam Peckinpah brings you the most epic story of them all. Cross of Iron. Leaving without your Iron Cross, Captain.
I said, where's the rest of your platoon? Sergeant Steiner!
Captain Stransky, you are the rest of my platoon.
I'll show you how a Prussian officer can fight.
I will show you the Iron Crosses grow.
I'll show you where the Iron Crosses grow. That was cool. You see his face there. His real hard, bitten looking face. If you just, where was it? Just find that. There you go. Look at that. That's that. Just the look of him. He looks like he's been through battle. He looks like he's seen it. Look at his steely eyes, and he's like the grime and the unshaven face. It's just like, he really played that role really well, and I think it's a very good film. I remember seeing it. It's one of those films that I don't know if I've seen it all the way through. It's one of those films you always turning over telly at night, and it's like it's on. I'll watch this, but I've probably missed it. I may not have ever seen the first 10 minutes. I don't know. It always feels like it goes on for a long while when I have watched it, but I'm pretty sure I've never seen it right from the very, very beginning. But maybe I have. I just don't remember. But it's one of those films I remember turning over the channel late at night, and it's on, and I watch it to the end. But I'm not sure if I've actually seen the very, very beginning of it. But maybe I'll get to check it out again sometime. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. It's powerful powerful movie. And Sam Peckinpah was like famous for his bloodthirsty movies, when he had the Wild Bunch and all that. Just lots of blood and guts everywhere. There's quite a bit of, I think there's some blood and guts. There's definitely some blood and guts in this one, but not maybe like similar to some of the more modern special effects that we'd have nowadays. The more modern special effect makeup, the blood and guts kind of stuff. But yeah, I can't remember now though. But it's a bloody good movie anyway. It's definitely worth watching, and maybe I'll check it out again sometime, because I kind of like remember a lot of it. You look at it and I'm kind of remembering the bits, even though I've not seen it for ages. It kind of like, it only takes a little trailer like this to remind you of all the stuff that goes on in the movie. But anyway, that's it. Enough of me chattering on this one. That's my look at Cross of Iron. Let me have your reaction to my reaction down below, and give me a sub up if you want to check out some more reactions from me. And don't forget the all important, always enjoyable thumbs up, because we all have a thumbs up now, don't we? Yes, we do. Don't pretend you don't. We know you like it.